I think I said what I said. I think it's kind of common sense. And I think I'll always believe in that. I think it's really important to protect children, and that's little girls who are also involved in that category. And so I stand on what I said.
Did you hear that? That right there is the real problem and the real warning shot. Because this was not just Indiana beating Connecticut 123-88. This was Caitlin Clark detonating the game with a 27-point, 11-assist double-double, while Sophie Cunningham made it crystal clear she was not backing off her stance. And together, it created the exact kind of night the WNBA keeps pretending it can control, with press releases, technical fouls, and carefully managed talking points. You either believe the league should ride the wave of its biggest stars and let personalities breathe, or you believe the machine matters more than the people filling the seats. There is no middle ground tonight.
And before the game, Sophie Cunningham was asked about her comments that she made where she stood up for women's sports, keeping biological men and boys out of girls' locker rooms, women's locker rooms.
And that is why this story exploded beyond one box score. Because the second Sophie became part of the pregame conversation, this stopped being a clean little, nice team win segment and turned into a culture war collision inside a league already under pressure. The WNBA has been living in two realities at once. One reality where it celebrates growth, ratings, and relevance, and another where every unscripted opinion feels like a crisis waiting to happen. So when Sophie gets asked directly, and everybody braces for the corporate dodge, you can feel the tension. Team individual conviction versus team league-approved messaging. Pick a side.
I think I said what I said. I think it's kind of common sense. And I think I'll always believe in that. I think it's really important to protect children, and that's little girls who are also involved in that category. And so I stand on what I said.
And honestly, this is where everything falls apart for the league office, if it wants clean optics without real confrontation. Sophie did not apologize, did not soften it, did not hide behind PR language. Whether people agree with her or hate it, the reaction was guaranteed, because refusal travels faster than caution. That is what modern sports media runs on, and if the WNBA punishes strong personalities only when they become inconvenient, fans notice. They always notice. That is why nights like this turn into something bigger than basketball. Fans start asking whether this is a league that wants authentic voices or just compliant ones. Now stack that on top of the Caitlin Clark factor, and the whole thing gets even messier. The WNBA is not operating in the same world it was 2 years ago. The Associated Press reported the league's most watched season in 21 years averaged 462,000 viewers across ABC, ESPN, and CBS, up 36% year over year, while attendance rose 16% to its highest level since 2018. AP also noted that before Clark even played a WNBA game, two teams moved games against Indiana to bigger arenas, and Indiana had averaged just over 4,000 home fans before her arrival. That is not hype. That is economic force. Source. So now ask the uncomfortable question. When the star most responsible for pushing eyeballs, ticket demand, and national attention keeps ending up in controversy, whose fault is that? Hers? The opponents? The refs? Or a league that still looks shocked every time the spotlight gets hot? Because Clark doesn't exist in a vacuum. She is the centerpiece of a product that desperately wants her draw, without fully accepting the chaos that comes with a superstar who changes the balance of power. Fans show up for stars, not for sanitized committee statements. That is the truth.
Now, right here, double technicals for Sanaya Rivers and Caitlin Clark, who exchanged words after a Connecticut foul. That's 7 technicals for Caitlin Clark, one more, and she will be suspended.
And there it is again. More fuel, more tension, more proof that every Clark game now feels like a referendum on who gets protected and who gets policed. 7 technicals, one from a suspension, after another heated moment, in a game where Indiana was rolling. You can call that emotion, you can call it edge, you can call it immaturity if you want. But fans see something else too. They see a star who gets hit, chirped at, tested, and then judged as the face of the reaction. Team Caitlin says she is being targeted, Because that's what happens to the biggest draw in the building. Team WNBA says she has to control herself because stars get a different standard. Again, pick a side. And this is where the business side gets ugly. The AP reported the WNBA's new media rights package with Disney, Amazon, and NBC runs 11 years starting in 2026 and is worth about $200 million annually, up from roughly $60 million a year on the current deal. The same report says players' union leadership openly worried the league was still being undervalued despite unprecedented growth, and insisted there was no excuse to undervalue the WNBA again. Translation: everybody wants a bigger slice because the pie is finally growing. That matters tonight because every Clark explosion and every controversy around her is leverage. It is leverage for players demanding more money. It is leverage for owners selling a growth story. It is leverage for executives trying to prove the brand is bigger than one player. And it is exactly why the league's current collective bargaining fight matters. AP reported players opted out seeking increased revenue sharing, higher salaries, improved benefits, and a softer salary cap, with proposals that could push max salaries above $1.1 million and minimum salaries above $220,000. So yes, when Clark lights up a game like this, it is not just points on a board. It is money, power, and control.
The Indiana Fever set a record for points in the first half of a game with 70 tonight. Wow. Yeah, and Caitlin Clark started this game fast. She never really took her foot off the pedal.
And this is the part nobody in the anti-hype crowd wants to hear. The on-court dominance backed up every bit of the noise. ESPN's recap says Indiana set a franchise record for points in a game at 123, posted the biggest half in franchise history with 70, and produced the third highest scoring game in league history without overtime. Clark had 27 and 11, Kelsey Mitchell added 23, and Aaliyah Boston had 22. That's not a social media mirage. That's a demolition.
So let's start with Caitlin, 27 points, 8 of 13, 5 of 9 from three-point range, 11 assists, 2 boards, 1 steal, 1 block shot.
So what exactly are we debating now? Whether Clark is good for the league? That argument is over. Whether she deserves to be centered in the MVP conversation when healthy? That conversation is now unavoidable. Whether the Fever are more dangerous when the ball is in her hands and the offense is unapologetically built around her? The scoreboard answered that for everybody. This is what fans have been screaming for. Stop overcomplicating it. Stop trying to make this overly diplomatic, and let your best engine drive the car. When Clark is aggressive, the entire Fever offense looks faster, louder, and meaner. And then you add Sophie to the emotional chemistry of the night, and now you have the other half of the storm. Because Sophie's refusal to retreat is going to be read by one audience as courage and by another as provocation. That's why this thing won't cool off after the final buzzer. Some fans are going to say she stood on principle. Others are going to say she injected division into a league already balancing enough tension. But if you think that tension is going away, you haven't been paying attention. The WNBA is growing, yes, but growth does not erase conflict. Growth multiplies it.
She gonna drive, pull up another little floater, and the and one. That was nice. Caitlin Clark was on her game.
And that play right there is why the whole debate gets even hotter. Because when the star is cooking like that, people stop talking in abstract terms and start taking sides emotionally. Fans versus executives. Free expression versus brand management. Star power versus institutional control. Old WNBA gatekeeping versus the new attention economy. Clark represents one pressure point. Sophie represents another. Put them on the same night with a blowout win, a technical foul controversy, and a fan base already suspicious of how the league handles its biggest draws. And you get exactly this. An online civil war before the post-game quotes even finish loading. So here's the verdict. Indiana didn't just win. Caitlin Clark reminded everybody who bends the energy of this league when she's healthy and on the attack. Sophie Cunningham made it clear she will not be bullied into a safer answer. And the WNBA got another flashing reminder that explosive growth comes with explosive personalities. You can side with the stars and say the league should stop acting threatened by the very people driving its relevance. Or you can side with the institution and say discipline, message control, and damage containment have to come first. But you do not get to pretend this is small anymore, because this is the real damage. Every time the league looks uncomfortable with its own biggest moments, fans trust the stars more than the system. And tonight, the stars won. So I'm asking you straight up, are you Team Caitlin and Team Let the Stars Breathe? Or are you Team WNBA and Team Control the Message, no matter what?